Well, it's kind of hard to believe it's already been 2 months since you and I worked on hog barns together. It's time to get the next barn ready for baby pigs. If you remember the last time you helped me in the barns, we were replacing some of these gate posts. Now these are still in great shape. These are relatively new posts. There's really no wiggle at all. The feet on them are in great shape. They're not rotted out. These posts have got a lot of life left in them. But what we need to do today is address some wear and tear on the concrete. Now, if you remember, we talked about this. The floor is made of concrete slats. And if you look down in between the slats, that's where the hog manure goes. When they go to the bathroom in here, it all just kind of falls down into the storage pit underneath the floor. But what happens over time is the minerals in the feed eat away at the surface of the concrete. You're gonna notice that a lot more right around the feeders here, where feed spills out of the pig's mouth when they're going from eating feed to taking a drink. You can see the exposed rock in this concrete right here. We need to patch that up. You can see I've patched the middle, but right here by the water cups on both ends, we need to get that fixed up. What I'm using today is just the best mortar that I've been able to find from our local hog barn supplier. It's called Concrete Extra, and this is what they're selling right now. Seems to work pretty good. I like to buy it in the kit, where you get the bag of the powder, and then you also get another jug of this fortifier hardener bonding agent that you mix in with it that really adds a lot of durability to it. I feel like it helps it stick to the concrete slats a little bit better. Let's get some mixed up and I'll show you what I'm gonna do. Now I need to mix this stuff a little bit thinner than you would think, because this stuff sets up really, really fast. In fact, this kit comes with this white sugary looking stuff that you can put in there to help make it set up a little bit more slowly. And in the summertime, I've found especially, you really need to use that stuff. Otherwise it'll turn solid on you before you can get the work done that you're trying to do. This is a pretty good consistency right here. I'm pretty happy with it. I do want to smooth it out here, and I do also like to see it running over the side of the slat like that, just a little bit. I don't want to waste a bunch of this mortar by letting it all fall into the pit, but I do want to get some on the side of the slat, so that gives it some protection. Yeah, this is working just the way I want it to. I've got both fans going right now, but I want to get just a little more ventilation in here. So I'm going to go let the curtains down, and then we'll basically be outside. Go to curtains, and then you can select between close, off, and open. I'm just gonna leave it on open. Well, we're halfway down already. Well, I've got the major holes patched everywhere now. It doesn't have to look perfect. Remember, this is pigs. They're not really gonna care if I got it perfectly smooth or not. But that's really gonna protect the concrete and help it last a few years longer. So let's go back to some of the first ones that I did and see how dry they are now. So here's where we started just about 35 minutes ago. You could walk on that already. Now that we got the concrete fixed up, we got to do something you might not have thought of yet. We have to disinfect the inside of these plastic water lines on the ceiling, the hoses that go down to the waterers, and then these stainless steel pipes that go all the way down to the water cups. How are we going to do that? We're going to put a bleach solution inside the water lines. Let me show you how. All right, we got the bleach solution in the garbage can. We got the sump pump down there in the bottom. We got it hooked up to the water line that we want to pressurize. All right, so we've got the diluted bleach in the garbage can. The sump pump is pressurizing the water lines in the room. Now we got to get the water with the bleach in it to flow into the water cups. Now these types of waterers have these diaphragm controls on the top of the standpipe, and they stop letting water flow in as soon as the water touches the bottom of this pipe. It works a lot like an old school chicken water fountain. So I got to be able to get this water out of there so that our bleach water can flow in and clean the system. All right, here it comes. And it's just that simple. So we'll leave the water with the bleach sit inside the water lines for 2 to 3 days. Then we'll go ahead and flush the water lines out with clean water, rinse out the water cups a few times with the garden hose and a leaf blower again, and then the pigs will be ready to drink nice, clean, safe, healthy water. So I was walking through here admiring my work, and when I saw this temperature sensor, it reminded me that about 2 months ago when I was working in the other barn, I filmed a little segment about these wireless temperature sensors and how much I love this BarnTalk system. And I completely forgot to include it in any of my videos. So let's go across the driveway to that barn over there and we'll talk about the BarnTalk system. And I'll show you the app on my phone, explain to you what I can do with it, what I love about it, what I don't love about it. Because a lot of you guys have been asking. It's been about 8 or 9 months since we installed this system. We've had enough experience now with this system that I feel like I can reliably talk about what we do and don't like about it, and if we think we can trust it to protect our barns or not. So this right here is the gateway. This box mounted on the wall. This is kind of the brains of the whole operation that communicates through a cellular signal with the cloud, and then we can look at all the data on our phone app. We've got these 2 antenna brackets just screwed to the wall. We've got the cellular antenna and then the sensor antenna here. It's also plugged into a power outlet in the barn, so if we ever lose power at our barn site, it'll let us know right away. So all we had to do was hang the sensors up, plug the box in, and we were off to the races. I'm not even exaggerating. We literally took these sensors out of the box, clipped the rope onto them, hung them from these hooks that we already had on the ceiling, plugged the gateway box in, and immediately everything showed up on the app. It's literally couldn't be easier. You couldn't screw it up. All right, let me grab my phone here and show you what you can do with the BarnTalk app. All right, let's go ahead and open the BarnTalk app here on my phone. You can see right here at the top left-hand corner, it says barn power on. That is really important to know. You got to have power at your barns because electricity is what runs all the fans and the feed system and the temperature control system and everything. So you need to know that the power's on. But right here on the home screen, we have all of our temperature sensors on display all at once. If I want to look more specifically at one room, I can go into South 7, just click on it right here, and it'll show the battery percentage in the upper right-hand corner, 87% battery power left in that wireless sensor. It'll show the signal strength right next to it. In this box right here, it shows the current temperature, the average over the last 24 hours, and the low and the high temperature over the last 24 hours. With the curtains down in the summertime, not a surprise that the lowest temperature was at 3:30 in the morning and the highest temperature was at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That makes total sense. If we go all the way down to the bottom, you'll see a graph of the temperature over time. I can slide that left and right and I can see what time and what the temperature was. I can switch days. Yet this was yesterday. This was the day before, and you can just see that pattern repeat of the temperature going up in the afternoon and down at night. So that's nice to be able to do. Up in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see it says Manage Threshold. That's where I can go in and tell this system when I want it to warn me about a problem. Now, in the summertime, it gets in the mid-90s here in Iowa a lot of times, so I have the high temp warning set at 99 degrees and the high temp emergency warning set at 102 degrees. Now, when we get into cooler temperatures and the curtains are up and I'm worried about maybe it gets too hot in one building because a fan quits working or something, all I got to do is set my high temp warning right here. Just keep clicking that negative sign and I can set my high temp warning down to 70 degrees if I want and set my emergency warning down to 80 degrees or whatever I want to have it set at. Whenever it reaches that high temp warning or low temp warning, I'll get a notification on my phone through the app. When it gets to the emergency, whether it's a high temp emergency or a low temp emergency, I'll get a text message and then a phone call. Down here at the bottom, you'll see some water meters that are actually tracking the water usage in these barns. So if I go to the South Barn water meter, so you'll see at the top the last 24-hour usage and then the last 3-day rolling average, and then down here at the bottom, it'll show you every single day, and you can click on individual days. It'll show you the percentage of departure from the last 3-day rolling average. And again, you can go back in time and see the water usage for that barn right here. This is really good information to have because a lot of times when pigs start to get sick, the water usage drops off. And that sometimes is an indicator that they're getting sick before you really even notice any clinical symptoms when you're looking at them. So being able to track that water usage is really important. But possibly most importantly about the water meters is you can find out if you have a hose that breaks in the middle of the day and the water never stops running, it's spraying all over the place. You can find out about that. If the well switch quits working or the well motor, pump motor goes out and suddenly you don't have any water for the pigs and nothing is flowing, you find out about that as well. So really, really critical information that you can have on your phone anywhere you are. So that's the basic functionality of the app for the temperature sensors that we have and the water meters that we have installed here. Really, really cool. The previous alarm system that we were using, all it would do was call your phone when something was wrong and you had no idea what was wrong. If it was a high temperature, a low temperature, if the power was out, whatever was wrong, you wouldn't know until you got here. So it would be pretty common to get a phone call from the old alarm system, and by the time you got there, a lot of times the alarm light had gone back off already. You had no idea what happened. Everything seems fine. You drive back home, you get another alarm call. It was just a total nightmare. But with this BarnTalk system, I can be anywhere in the world and I can look up on my phone what's going on. If there's a problem or not, I can look it up right now just to check if I want to. But then if something goes wrong, I immediately know what the problem is and if it's a critical issue. Sometimes it's just an issue of the temperature got a little hotter today than I thought it was going to, and I didn't have my alarm set quite high enough. So I can just change that from my phone and go on about my business. But sometimes it's something really important that needs to be addressed, and I know before I get here what's going on. I can't really think of anything I don't like about the BarnTalk system. Maybe because our previous alarm system was so rudimentary. So the thing I was the most concerned about when we went to install this system was that the furthest away temperature sensors and water sensors wouldn't have a strong enough signal to communicate with the gateway box in the south barn. Because we had to go through multiple concrete walls. We were going maybe 700, 850 feet away from the gateway box. But we were able to locate our antennas for the gateway box high up on the wall. We haven't had a single issue with sensors being able to communicate with the gateway. In terms of the cellular reliability and the reliability of the company, we have had one event where the cellular signal was down for maybe 15 to 20, 30 minutes. They notified us immediately that something was happening though, so that we were warned that we weren't getting up-to-date information. We were kept in the loop the whole time and the issue was resolved really quick. So that was important for us to know. We were a little worried about what happens if we lose signal. And now we know that if we do lose signal, we're gonna know about it. We can go check, make sure everything's okay. But like I say, we've had it since January and we've only had one signal outage, which is probably better than your cell phone. I know it's better than my cell phone. Hey, before I go, I do wanna mention though that I'm gonna be at the Farm Progress Show on Tuesday, the 30th of August, midday, early afternoon. So if you'd like to stop in and see me, I'll probably be hanging out with the precision planting people down there in Boone, Iowa at the Farm Progress Show. I would love to meet you. Come on down and see us in Boone. That's going to do it for today. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you next time.
Believing in better is a mindset to pursue excellence in everything you do. It's welcoming opportunities to improve your farm and knowing that your best season is simply a starting point for this season. Precision planting is for farmers like you who believe in better.